Can you believe it's been nearly a year? Yes, it was April the 2nd, 2020, when somebody had the idea that three of us would bring you a show about horse racing and drinking. What wasn't to like? And you know what? We were all in the middle of a lockdown. It was the beginning of the COVID pandemic. We all felt the need to cheer ourselves up. It was one night only, right? Wrong. 29 episodes. We squeezed the lemon, figuratively and literally. And you know what? We're back for series 2, nearly a year later. Unfortunately, I'm flying solo tonight. Britney Eurton couldn't be with us. She had prior work commitments. And Mark Tubridy, well, we don't know what happened to him after the end of the last series. We haven't seen sight nor sound of him. So you're just stuck with me, I'm afraid, for the next hour. So could be quiet, could be long. But I've got you to keep me company and your comments as well. I'm just kidding. Evening, Britney.
Well, hello. Cheers to you. I would have watched that entire show. A toast to season 2. I thought this was, season 15 for as many shows as we've done. Back where we started once again, just with a different backdrop.
Your backdrop is spectacular. I'm obviously in the same place. I like to call it my music room. You guys call it my garage. You are now against a sort of art moderne diptych in your state-of-the-art Los Angeles abode. You look great.
Thank you, as do you.
Well,
wait, give a little pat right here.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is the problem. This is the problem. Here in the UK, no hairdresser has been open since December. Yikes. And you can't get a haircut until April the 11th. In fact, that's, I think, made it even worse. But frankly, what the hell? What can we do about it? What can we do about it? Nothing we can do about it. We just keep cracking on. Now,
we are missing our third musketeer here.
We are. And of course, he has been seen and he is back. This show will be nothing without him. Where are you? Mark Tubridy. Come in, Mark.
Guys, so good to see you. You both look fantastic. And it's crazy. Wow. I can't believe it's really, but as close as you get, Nick. But it's unbelievable that it's been about a year since we started this show. And I missed you guys a lot. So it's so great to see you. You both look fantastic.
Oh, it's so good to see you. Now give us the update, Mark, because when last we left you, things were a little uncertain. We talked about the 21 Club, where you've been the resident mixologist for so long, and at the back end of 2020, things were a bit uncertain. So where are you now? Where are we now with that whole thing?
Yeah, unfortunately with 21, the news is about the same. So we know that they are going to be closed for the rest of 2021, unfortunately. There are some hopes and some rumors that it will possibly return in some form or another. So, all of us working at the restaurant that are part of the union, we're all just hoping that we're going to be a part of that future, whatever it is. So I will keep you guys updated throughout the year. I'm hoping that we're going to get some good news in the future. But in the meantime, I'm just tinkering around here in the apartment, trying to stay busy, doing my cocktail classes. And I'm so happy to be back with you guys because you guys have kept me constant throughout this past year.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the cocktail classes, how people can get involved if they want to. Are they virtual, in person? What's the latest?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, it's this thing that started off as kind of just a favor I did for one of my regular customers from 21 back in August, just doing a nice virtual get together on Zoom for his sister's birthday. And then from that has basically grown this amazing sort of, series of seminars that I've done. I started a website, as you guys see there, the Empty Glass Mixology. Yep. And so, we're doing virtual seminars through Zoom. I basically work with people to decide what cocktails they want to feature. And then me, it's chock full of historical notes, step-by-step demos. Of course, I do all the fancy stuff here with the split screens and the screen overlays. So it's been a great way of me staying sharp, but it's also been a fantastic way for, personal clients, but corporate clients too, to do some team building and, socialize and stay in touch, even though we're all still social distancing.
How long is the beard staying intact?
I don't know. I think I've got maybe about another month on it, and then I might just go off, because before, last April, really, I was always clean shaven. For 21 Club, we had to be clean shaven all the time. So you guys only really know me as the scruffy guy, but one of these days I'll surprise you on a Thursday. Just come in looking completely fresh.
I say, who was that? You get
Exactly.
a beard cut. Nick gets an actual haircut. It'll be lovely.
Yeah. It would be nice, wouldn't it? That's for sure. That's for sure. I can't wait. Now, if I'm not at my very best this evening, it may be because I had my COVID jab yesterday. I had my first COVID jab, which I'm sure you guys have had already.
No, I get mine tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
how do you feel?
I've got to say, it knocked me out for a day. I'm definitely 1 degree under, so we're pulling our way through it. But yeah, if you've all had it out there, great. Everyone's doing the right thing. But yeah, it was a cold, sweaty night last night, so hence why I'm on the water.
Yeah.
Well, cheers. Nick, how are you? How is your family? I know Britain is slowly coming out of lockdown. No fans at Cheltenham, which was a big turn from last year, where it seemed like it was the final event with hundreds of thousands of people. Maybe not the best idea in hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, and there was that debate all came back around this year, but it was fine. The sport was good, and I think we've all got used to racing behind closed doors now. But gradually, fans are going to start coming back. The owners are coming back this week, and the vaccination program's good here. So we should be by sort of just after Royal Ascot time, we should be on roughly full capacity. I think it'll be about sort of 10,000-12,000 come Ascot. So yes, it's not perfect, but it's better than it was, and we're definitely moving in the right direction. And people's health, generally the nation's health, is getting better. So that's got to be a good thing.
Well, what about lovely Laura and your 3 adorable girls? How are they?
Well, I think I've managed to just wake them all up by talking so loudly, but yeah, they're all fine. Thanks very much, Britt. How about you? How's it all going your end?
No, it's good. I mean, it's getting really hot out here in Southern California. Beautiful day outside with a huge weekend ahead. I know we'll touch on that a little bit later in the show, but Kentucky Derby is back in its traditional spot the first Saturday in May. So we have 3 major Derby preps coming up this weekend. But I think most importantly, and I'm seeing it here in the comments, fans can come back to the track as of tomorrow. So that's big. If you can make your way out there, amazing. Make a reservation, but I think they're going to cap it about 7,000-8,000 for Santa Anita Derby Day, which is Saturday. It'll be great to have that energy back. So all good there. Family is doing well. I get to spend Easter with my family, which is lovely. And oh yeah, it's opening day. Go Dodgers.
I was just about to say, yeah, sorry, Nick. We, here in New York, we've got this thing called the Excelsior Pass that's coming out, which is a way for people to attend, sporting events as they start reopening, as well as other live events. So if you've had your vaccine, or I think it's predominantly if you've had your vaccine, you get this pass that sort of facilitates and expedites you getting into these live events. So opening day again for the Yankees here. The Mets unfortunately couldn't play. I think they had a couple positive COVID tests. But yeah, it's exciting to see, in addition to the horse racing, everything kind of start coming to life again.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, we are still raising money on this show, as you did last year.
That's why it started, other than just the three of us to hang out and talk to each other.
Exactly. For the racetrack chaplaincy and the hospitality industry, we raised $15,000 last year, and we're hoping to do more and better this time around. breederscup.com/donate. Loads of great charities along the way. And Mark, your sector was particularly significantly hit and has been significantly hit by this. And when you think about all the hospitality at the racetracks that's been lost in the interim period, it's a huge shortfall and a huge amount of employment, both full-time and casual, that's been lost.
Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate all the help that we can get. And thank you for everyone that donated last year. And we appreciate your ongoing support, because in many ways, we're still just crawling back to some semblance of normal. We're at 50% capacity on indoor dining here in New York. The outdoor dining project that we did last year to kind of stimulate that business was such a success that they're making that permanent. So we're going to have a lot of these outdoor cafes in New York. So it's interesting to see how people evolve and how industries evolve. It kind of looked like New Orleans in the city here sometimes this past year, people walking around with margaritas. But, we're in need of help, and we appreciate all the support that all you viewers have given us. So thank you.
I hope they weren't throwing the beads, and you know what happens after you.
No, we're not there yet.
I don't feel like New York is really that type of city.
Yeah, a little bit more reserved. But speaking of margaritas, I'll kind of use this as a transition. We've got a fun change coming up on Cocktails and Conversation this year, which is we're going to continue to feature a Maker's Mark cocktail every single week, but that second spirit is going to be a little in flux. Sometimes we're going to have a great Tito's handmade vodka cocktail. Sometimes we're going to be featuring some gin, like we are tonight, some rum, some tequila. So as we go into these warmer months, brace yourselves for a little bit more diversity on the spirit front here on Cocktails and Conversation.
Oh gosh, I hope my dad's watching. I mean, he will rival you with his margarita. We should bring him on.
Yeah.
Like a rivalry between the two. He'll love hearing that. But I want to give a personal hello to some of the fans tuning in that have been with us since day one. We hope you are happy, healthy, and safe out there. Allison Tarrant, Julie Ingle, Joy Boone, Jeff Hall, hello. Jeffrey Munholland is trying to ruin my day by telling me the Dodgers are down in the 6th. Dorian Dickinson, hello. Harvey Connors, so many of you. Jennifer Pinkerton Cook, Robert Segura, so many of you joining us again. And I know that we promoted it, but someone said, hey, why didn't I get the notification till 5 minutes before? Well, now that you're here, you know we're back. And it's not just one episode, Nick Luck.
Exactly. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. So you've not missed much. And you can just be with us, hopefully, for the whole season, each and every week from now until Breeders' Cup. Well, I'm not sure about
I love
that.
the theme music changed as well. Our producers, as always, are on their game, and that breathed some new life. I felt very energized coming into this first episode. So all around,
I liked the jazzy feel before. I was partial to that.
Okay.
Yeah, the Django Reinhardt vibe has gone in favor of a slightly more kind of urgent kind of.
We could take a poll maybe, but
we should. No poll needed on tonight's cocktails. Big fan, but I think Nick and I might be a little bit biased. What is on the menu tonight, Mark?
Well, this is super exciting because I mean, genuinely, I missed you guys so much these past couple months because we saw each other nearly every single week since this craziness started. So I ended the last episode with my sappy monologue about how much I love you guys. So I wanted to continue that tonight by doing some specialty cocktails just for you. So in the case of you, Brittany, we've got kind of a cool story that I guess we'll get to a little bit later on with that cocktail about how it came to be, the Eurton. Nick, yours is a little bit more of a kind of
right, Mark.
It's not the Eurton. Oh my God. How did we get through a year and I didn't know that?
Probably because you never had to say it.
I apologize, but we're going to be making the Eurton tonight, as well as the Luck, which is a cool variation on a classic cocktail, one of my favorites. So yeah, in honor of you, Brittany, and in honor of you, Nick, we're going to be featuring two delicious cocktails.
I can't wait. I wish I had all the ingredients to make it today.
I can't wait. The Luck will be better, obviously. A little sharper.
Oh boy.
Let's take a poll of that one, all right? Everybody?
It is funny that you said sharper because one of the things I wanted to do, Nick, is make it a little drier than a traditional Clover Club. We're going to talk about what it comes from because you have that great dry sense of humor. So I'm going to explain what ingredient kind of makes it a little less sweet. Not to say you're not sweet, but I'm saying just for that dry humor.
Well, that's I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. Awesome. Listen, tell us what you want to see Mark make. Don't just tell us that. Tell us what you want to see us doing for the next 20 weeks. Who you'd like to see us interviewing. Who haven't we had on the show that you would love to see? Because it's your show as much as it is ours, and we're nothing without your input. So you tell us what you want, and we will deliver as best we can, won't we, Britt?
That we will. And we'll take the last 5-10 minutes of today's show, especially to zero in on all those ideas, ask any question or answer any questions you guys have about the weeks to come. So bring it on. But I think that because it's Throwback Thursday, maybe we take a little trip down memory lane, see what happened over the last 29 episodes of Cocktails and Conversation.
Sounds good.
Yes.
That's when the video rolls.
With sound.
It's episode 1, guys. Bound to happen. Bound to happen with episode 1.
We'll just do it orally. So way back in the day, I was making a cocktail. No, but so many great memories from that first year. And here we go.
with a transatlantic racing smorgasbord of Mark Tubridy in Brooklyn,
Britney Eurton in Los Angeles, California, and me, Nick Luck, I'm afraid to say, in Teddington, Southwest London. Cheers to you both. Great to see you again. We have got some show lined up for you. All the Todd Pletcher trained currently active styers in the time it takes Mark Tubridy to do this. You keep shaking, Mark, and I'll try. All right. Courtesy of the Thoroughbred Daily News. Here we go. AKI algorithms always dreaming, anchor down, army mule, audible, back, high, boisterous, company, and cold front commissioning competitive edge.
When you get bit by the horse racing bug, it's like no other feeling. I try and just explain to people that, how do you like describe the feeling of when your horse wins? And it's like, it's so hard to describe. If you could just bottle it up and sell it on the street as a drug, it'd be the most popular thing in the world, because it's just the best feeling when you see your horse in the lead coming down the stretch.
Constitution cross traffic downs at Destiny.
I feel like I'm a little behind because I haven't started drinking yet, but I'm going to make the other drink with you.
Awesome. The Boulevardier?
Yeah. Besides horse racing in Kentucky, the other thing I'm obsessed with is Italy. So I kind of love this cocktail. So I took some honey and I took some Calabrian chilies from the south of Italy and some mustard. And then all I do is I just kind of drizzle it on top of the chicken, just as it's nice and warm. And then I sprinkle a little bit of some lime zest. The favorite parts of my life, honestly, that this game affords me is 6:30 a.m. Saratoga, any day of the week, just watching the horses go by. Cup of coffee in my hand, mediocre egg sandwich. I'm good. It's like, but I don't want it to be anything other than that.
To get a stakes win at Saratoga in the first couple of years of owning horses, just a bucket list experience.
Just got to be honest with Dr. Chip, Dominus Ecto, English Channel, Gemologist, Giants, Price Gold, Black, Radar, Greenpoint Crusader, half hours. Here we go. There he is. He's our producer there, everybody, on the top left, if he's top left for you. Stuart S. Inquiry, named after the result of the Derby 2019. And there's Nacho.
Nacho.
The largest feline I've ever seen outside of a jungle.
Wow. Look at that.
Cat.
Serious cat.
How did he get his name?
I don't know. He looks like nacho cheese.
Hi, happy bro. Yeah. Hunt Crossing, Jack Milton, Keen Ice Coast, Antigua, Rocky Williams, Limehouse made from Lucky Mike, from Mission Impossible.
And that's what the Breeders' Cup is all about. You're just binging all day, watching all these great horses get together, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the Olympics of horse racing. But what about for you? What stands out about the Breeders' Cup?
Well, I think so too, and it's more isolated to horse racing people, and from all over the world. I love going to breakfast, whatever the local hangout is, and you'll have the French people and the English people and the Japanese, and I love the international aspect. I mean, it's our World Cup, really.
National Flag, Neolithic, Outwork, Palace, Malice, Pressure, Eco, Quality Road Race Day, Ready to.
I remember Donald Trump was in there one year. He was off in the corner.
Oh, look at this.
Was it a dirty martini? What's the drink of choice, Bo?
Yeah, he came with the house.
In a battle of the sexes in the Belmont Stakes, it is Curlin on the inside, Rags to Riches on the outside. A desperate finish. Rags to Riches and Curlin, they're coming down to the wire. It's going to be very close, and it's going to be a filly in the Belmont.
So I'll use this moment to give my Rags to Riches should be in the Hall of Fame speech. And, she's, I think, 3 years in a row they've dismissed her, but I keep hoping that she'll get there. I think some of the criticism is she didn't make enough starts. And I think some people don't realize that in addition to this, she also won the Kentucky Oaks and Santa Anita Oaks, Santa Ynez. I mean, she was a very, very special filly. And in my eyes, especially when you look back at the way they finished that race, and she beat a two-time Horse of the Year in Curlin, to me, that's Hall of Fame material.
You're up for this year, Todd, entry to the Hall of Fame this year for next. So perhaps the tactic is to say, thanks very much, kind of you, but I'm not coming in unless she comes with me.
I'm not coming without her. I can
Right?
tell you one thing I learned during the shutdown. Cutting your own hair is way more difficult than it looks.
Space down, Stanford, Stay Thirsty, Stone Cider, Tamarind, Turbo Compressor, Uncle Mo, Uncle Vinny, Vito Rosso, Violence and Winning Cause. I must have missed one out.
Oh my goodness, Todd! Look at what you did to Mark with all of your sires.
Mark's worn out.
Mark, how are those guns after all that?
They're better now, but I think they need some work. So now that we're actually starting up again, I can try to turn those into a little more pop. But yeah, it was a workout every show, and I love how it became, like so many things in this show, tradition. We built up amazing traditions over the course of one season. So I look forward to new ones that we're gonna form in this one.
Imagine, with a bit more practice, Mark, you could end up like me.
That's what I dream for every night before I go to bed. So, But yeah, I think one of our producers said it. One of those clips, you had that really nice slicked back hair, Nick. You looked really good. So maybe April 11th. I don't know which show is closest to that, but you'll come in looking the same.
Yeah, the problem is, what do you do with this whole lockdown hair thing? It's just a disaster. It's been a year of disaster when you're losing it and you're losing your hair, whatever. It's just a disaster. It's just a disaster.
As much as I'd like to spend the entire show talking about Nick's hair.
Some of our favorite people have already been on, by the way. I just wanted to just shout them out. Bob Segura, Talis Finney, Jack Carey, Jennifer Pinkerton-Cook, Jesus Cabral, Jeff Hall, Anthony Can, Corey Boudreau, who's says the luck is going to be the better of the cocktails, which obviously is right. Mary McKittrick, Stuart Powell, they're all back with us.
The Bloom family with us. I saw it, and maybe we have an update, or maybe we'll need to save this for the end of the show, and our producer can tell us the latest update. Susie Bloom saying, we need a cocktail book to buy. I feel like there might be an update there.
I think so.
We'll save that till the end of the show. But it was great to see. I mean, that clip was heavy Bobby Flay and Eric Johnson. But it was interesting hearing the clip from Todd Pletcher saying, you know what, if I go in, I hope she comes in with me. And they are both finalists this year, have since been announced, but we'll see if they get inducted together, because Todd Pletcher is 1 to 9 to enter the Hall of Fame this year. So looking forward to that. But I'm thirsty. I am so parched, Mark. Can we make it?
Yeah, it's been like 3 months since we had a cocktail together. So it's time to do it. I will pronounce it correctly this time, the Eurton. I'm so excited for this cocktail because, Brittany, you reached out to me. I think it was just around the time that we did our last show during the holidays. And basically the idea was, which I thought was brilliant, was to do a little gift basket for your parents, who of course are not only regulars of this program and so supportive, but they've become serious home bartenders over the course of this show, right? So
you should see, not only did I create a bar cart here thanks to the show, this was part of their Christmas present, and it has all the ingredients in there. And thanks to our producer, Pete Rotondo, I got the Maker's Mark label to say the Eurton around it, and it was a special Christmas label, and there's your recipe all framed, and that is in our bar area at my parents' house.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I love the idea. I think the way that you packaged it was so nice as well. But it's kind of interesting because, I wanted to create a drink that they could enjoy any time of the year without having to worry about making homemade syrups and difficult things like that. So I had this idea to use a jam in there, almost like we did for that breakfast martini that we made in the first season. And I had that idea to use blackberry, and I didn't realize how coincidental that was, because you have some sort of connection to that with your family with blackberry jam, right, Brittany?
So, gosh, you have a great memory. We used to go to Knott's Berry Farm a lot when I was a kid, and not just because I love theme parks. I mean, I'm partial to Disneyland, but my dad loves the Knott's Berry Farm jam. And anybody that's from Southern California might know what I'm talking about there. They are known for it. And the blackberry and boysenberry ones sometimes are a little bit more difficult to get. So you have to actually go to the theme park. So we would go on all the rides and everything, and leave with some jam. So it had a nice tie-in. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm so happy that they enjoyed it. So tonight, we're going to show all of our viewers how to make the Eurton, this fantastic cocktail. I'm going to try to pull my little trick here and do a split screen. So to make this drink, you're going to need some rosemary, some blackberry jam. We're going to need some fresh lemon juice, Cointreau, or just regular triple sec if you don't have that, and of course, some Maker's Mark bourbon. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to start. We did so many types of muddles last year. So we're going to lead off with a muddle of some rosemary. This is going to be sort of between a gentle and a forceful, simply because, you know, with herbs, we usually want to keep it a gentle muddle to avoid it from getting bitter. But rosemary is a pretty resilient herb, so I don't feel like there's too much of a risk of kind of tearing that. So we can do sort of an in-between muddle here.
A middle muddle.
And a middle muddle. There we go. We've already got something for this show. Now, the thing with this is that you're going to know that you're pretty much there on the muddling when you can smell the aroma of that rosemary. Right now, I'm getting this pop of rosemary coming out of the cocktail shaker, which means we're pretty much ready to move on to our next ingredient. So we've got our herbaceous quality here. The next thing that we're going to add is our sourness, our acidity. So we're going to do this with lemon juice. And remember, fresh citrus juices are always best. Your citrus juices will oxidize over time. I speak about this a lot, or I did during the first season. So when you're using lemon or lime juice, it's great to squeeze it fresh in the moment or that day and use it up as soon as you can. And if you make a really good cocktail, that should make it easier to go through your supply of lemon juice. So let's add 3/4 of an ounce to our cocktail tin.
Dorian Dickinson says, middle muddle by gentle muddle. I mean, we've got some serious names.
I love that we already have coined a term already into our first episode. So we're off to a good start. So we've got our acidity here. We're going to balance that with some sweetness. Now, again, there's so many beautiful syrups that you can make within the realm of mixology, and they're actually not that difficult. But if you don't want to go through that hassle and you want a very consistent sweetness, but still fruitiness in your cocktail, jams are a great way of doing that. So here we have some blackberry jam. We're going to do 1 heaping tablespoon, if I can get it out like this, right into our cocktail tin. Now, the only thing is I like to give that a little stir to incorporate it, to break it down. The truth is that when we shake it, it's also going to do a great job of distributing that throughout the cocktail. So right now we've got some great herbaceous notes from rosemary, the tartness from the lemon juice, and you're getting your sweetness and your fruit from the jam. But we know that that sweetness from the jam is probably not going to be quite enough to balance out the acidity of the lemon juice. So I chose to use some Cointreau here. This is a fantastic ingredient to have in your home bar cart, especially if you're interested in making a lot of classic cocktails. You know, I've mentioned it before, but you can use this to make a proper margarita, a sidecar, even a Mai Tai, a very traditional Mai Tai. So definitely worth investing in this high quality orange liqueur. This dates back, I think, to 1875, one of the oldest and most respected brands of triple sec in the industry. All right, so we're going to add 3/4 of an ounce of our Cointreau as well.
The history is my favorite part of your cocktail making, Mark.
Thank you. It's my favorite part too. You know, I love cocktails and I love interacting with people and just being at a bar in general. But I love the history and the science, because for me, that's what makes it bigger than just alcohol. It's bigger than just a drink. There's a story behind it. There's a reason why this spirit came to be. There's a science into how it was produced. And that goes for everything, you know, that we're putting into our cocktail shakers. So I'm glad that, you know, it was so amazing to see how it resonated with you guys and with our viewers this past year, because it sort of validates, I guess, I say it all the time, my geekiness for this stuff. So I'm glad that it's appreciated. Thank you.
And also,
right,
Mark,
so
what I've loved is kind of like a social history as well. It's, you know, a lot of these drinks are the sort of social glue that have held people together over decades. You know, why did people drink X in such a generation, and how's it evolved? You know, I've loved it. It's been a great education. And by the way, I can confirm now, I can reveal to you all that the first Cocktails and Conversation book will be out by Breeders' Cup this year.
I cannot wait for that. I mean, that was something that I think was requested from you, Mark, really early on. And for it to be ready by Del Mar Breeders' Cup this year is exciting.
It's going to be incredible. And as our viewers know, those recipes are still approachable. They're things that you can make at home. So in addition to capturing all these beautiful moments of conversation that we've had throughout this show, you're going to have these recipes at your fingertips. You're not going to have to comb through all of our episodes. You can if you'd like to relive some of them, but you can literally open up this book and find the recipes at a glance, as well as some of the tidbits of really amazing insights that we've gotten from our amazing guests throughout this past year. So that is awesome news, and it's one that we're going to have to drink to in just a second. So let's add our Maker's Mark bourbon. Of course, it wouldn't be a good old Kentucky cocktail without it.
This is so good.
All right, guys. So we are going to shake. I don't think we've got any accomplishments that we have to necessarily list off today, but I'm still going to give it a good hard shake. I have to get this workout started.
It would be a good workout if we listed my accomplishments. It would be like this show, not getting fired.
I think between you and Nick, I would be shaking for a long time. You guys have quite the resume. But either way, guys, let's go ahead and start shaking our Eurton cocktail.
I love how many people are excited about the book.
All right. So that hard shake is really going to distribute that jam. It's going to break down any bits of fruit that we didn't break down when we were stirring. Of course, this is giving me a little bit of a hard time. And now, remember, I like to strain a lot of my cocktails over fresh ice. Remember that the science of ice dictates that the larger the ice is, the more slowly it will melt. So instead of pouring directly from our cocktail shaker into the glass, where we'll probably get a diluted cocktail or overly diluted cocktail, what we want to do is strain over what's known as fresh ice in our glass, because this ice is still in its peak form. Yeah, Nick.
I was going to say, is fresh ice different from frozen ice?
No, not like that. No, just bartending terminology.
So fresh ice
right,
is
guys.
basically ice that is literally just frozen, right?
Yes. So fresh ice is basically ice that has not been shaken or stirred with, meaning that we haven't broken it down in any way. The ice in the cocktail shaker has already been reduced in size because we've been shaking it, which is necessary to dilute the cocktail and chill the cocktail. But yeah, the idea of fresh ice is this is ice straight from the freezer. So it's larger, it's more intact, and it's going to maintain the integrity of the cocktail for longer than if we poured it directly from the cocktail shaker.
All right.
So that's one of those little tips and tricks, things that you kind of do behind the bar, that I think translate very easily to home bartending. And I think people will really appreciate the difference that it makes in their cocktails. All right. So we've got this beautiful purple color coming from the Blackberry Jam here. We do want to add a garnish, but oftentimes we want to do a functional garnish, which means that it's going to serve a purpose in the cocktail. In this case, we want to bring some of those aromas of rosemary back into the drink. So we're going to take our rosemary and give it a light slap to release those aromatic oils. I know it's all coming back from last year, right?
Slap the mint.
Slap the mint. We're going to slap the rosemary. So look at this beautiful purple color from that jam. This is the Eurton cocktail. Hopefully, I hope your parents really enjoy it, and I hope they get to enjoy it throughout the year, Brittany. But for all of our viewers, I'm excited for you to try it as well, and let me know what you think. We've got the luck coming up later today, so
they loved it. I can attest to the fact that it is delicious. It's got a nice kick. My mom, we could only pour half a glass because she couldn't handle the whole thing.
Yeah, some of that is the Cointreau, because unlike some triple secs that are lower in alcohol by volume, around maybe 20 or 25%, Cointreau is 40% by volume. So it's got a fantastic orange flavor, but it takes it up a notch a little bit on the alcohol content. So yeah, maybe it's a one and done situation. I don't know.
It was delicious. I wish we could show you the photo of the actual cocktail I made, but I got these unique glasses, and
I love those glasses.
Me too. They have a bad word on them, so it probably wouldn't be appropriate.
Yeah, they basically the meaning of it was just enjoy, calm down, and enjoy your cocktail.
It was appropriate for 2020.
Yeah,
you're worried about a bad word in this show.
Fair enough. When we had the Wolves on, I think a few words were said.
Yeah, but we got a good 10 or 15 episodes in before we had a swear word slip out. But
it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's pretty well.
Peak form. In honor of, because we were mentioning Throwback Thursday, and I think maybe this is something that could kind of catch on through each of the episodes, especially the guests that we bring on. But I think because it's just the three of us, I wanted to showcase a Throwback Thursday photo that just is a prized photo of mine.
Wow.
That is good. That's strong. That is.
It's not often you see a 10-year-old Nick Luck.
I know.
Wow.
I have literally been on TV my whole life. Look at that.
All right,
it's like the Truman Show, but it was horse racing.
It was a tough paper round. It really was.
Okay, where are you? How old are you? Do you still own that suit?
Funnily enough, I think I probably do own the suit, but I haven't worn it for a while. That is Cheltenham, and it's got to be. That's the old Queen Mother stand. Well, that's been demolished for several years. With Graham Cunningham there, you might remember if you used to watch TV here on there. I reckon that is. I reckon I was 24, 23, 24.
Wow. I mean, how often were you carded? You literally don't look a day over 10.
I know, it's amazing. I must have just suddenly aged like 20 years in a day. Yeah. Sometime around having a child or something. I don't know.
I had to get back. I mean, when you brought out the cover photo, I'm just going to go to archives.
It does make sporadic appearances on Twitter, that picture.
Nick, you're like the Doogie Howser of sports commentators. Do you know who Doogie Howser is, Nick?
Yeah. Doogie Howser.
Okay. You got it. Yeah.
Well, Dorian says British men age well. So there you go.
There you go.
Maybe that hair's not going anywhere.
Similar hairstyle at the moment. It's kind of poofing up a bit. You know, that's not a bad thing.
You have huge, massive. Yeah.
My elusive wife Jasmine actually gave me a trim up a couple weeks ago. I've only had 2 haircuts in the past year. So I mean, like for the most part, it's
no one
growing out.
No one believes
Jasmine exists.
I thought you were going to prove the hair thing, and I'm like, okay, the man bun is back here. No, that's going to happen this season. I have to talk her into it, but she's camera shy. She doesn't want to.
The elusive Jasmine. Now, Brittany, we have a very, very big week of Derby preps coming up. Dorian Dickens has already asked me for my pick for the Bluegrass Stakes. I'm going to defer right now because you're all over the Derby trail at the moment. You're going to be in Santa Anita this weekend.
I will.
But there's the Keeneland meet's going to be in full swing as well with the Bluegrass. So tell us what's happening.
All right, so 3 races, all with 100 points to the winner, so guarantees them a spot in the starting gate. Second place could put them on the bubble if they don't have any points. Obviously, the leaderboard is really important, and we'll see it shake up quite a bit over the next couple weeks with these 3 races and then the Arkansas Derby next weekend. The first one, because NBCSN is showing those 3 races along with TVG, but NBCSN goes from 5:30 to 7:30 Eastern time. It'll start with the Wood Memorial in New York at Aqueduct. They have a big field there. And then the following race will be the Bluegrass from Lexington. And then Santa Anita Derby will wrap it all up. And I have to say, they're competitive races. The Bluegrass, not as much because, and we'll get into this, we could now. Essential Quality, your TVG Breeders' Cup juvenile winner from last year and champion. He's the heavy favorite, and we know he likes it there. So there's not a lot of question marks in terms of his ability and his chances in that race. So he'll be a short prize. But for those of you that have been following, the Derby news, Life is Good was the heavy favorite. Heavy favorite for Bob Baffert, trying to break the record for most Kentucky Derby wins. He was injured and off the Derby trail, had surgery, doing well, but not being able to run in the Triple Crown races knocks it right on open. So instead of 5 horses in the Santa Anita Derby, we have 10 on Saturday. It's one of the most competitive events since 2017, I think, is the last time we had more than 10.
I looked at the future pool, which just opened this last weekend. Right. And I see that Essential Quality is still the favorite. I mean, in your mind, is he still the clubhouse leader?
Yes. I would say he's very close to Concert Tour, though. Concert Tour was the Rebel winner. He's taken the Arkansas route for Bob Baffert. He'll be in the Arkansas Derby. I think that how close were they? Do you remember in terms of the Derby future pools?
I can't remember, to be honest, but it just struck me. Concert Tour.
If they're not that close, I would think they should be closer, if not Concert Tour with a slight bit of an edge. He's shown a lot of grit, and you have to respect Bob.
Oh, Jeff Hall has just asked, is there any chance of the Euros from Dubai coming?
I would love to know that as well. The Godolphin winner from the UAE Derby.
You want to know right now what the chances of that are?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you going?
I will play you.
Are you going to text Charlie Appleby?
No. I texted him on Saturday and just put the word Kentucky ? And he got right back to me 1 minute later. This is how good this man is, and sent me this, if you can hear it.
Hi, Nick. It'll be something we'll have a discussion about, I'm sure. Obviously, we're in a privileged position. They've got the favourite for Kentucky Derby as it stands at the moment. So it'll be put into the melting pot, but there wouldn't be no firm decisions in the immediate future. Okay, thanks, mate. Take care. Cheers, bye.
There you go. So
that is
the breaking news on this show.
Total trainer speak.
Trainer speak. Yeah, it could be put in the melting pot. We'll sit down and discuss it. But yeah, I mean, I kind of don't see why you wouldn't give it a shot in a normal year, but maybe with the traveling and whatnot, I don't know. My dear, they seem to be getting horses around the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I would think that Godolphin would want to being as they haven't won the Kentucky Derby, is that elusive race for them? I would think they'd want to put as many top-notch chances in the gate as they could.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I'm surprised they haven't given it more of a shot. They last like 2, 3, 4 years with European-based horses. I think people have got shy about it, but I mean they've got enough dirt-bred horses to give it a crack.
Great. I mean, just to step off from the Derby talk for a little bit, Mishriff was incredibly impressive. Being able to go from the Saudi Cup to Dubai and switch surfaces back again and beat that quality group, that was sensational. For those of you that have not watched some of the Dubai races, including Mishriff, unbelievable. Absolute
warrior of a horse. He really is. I don't know whether he's a true champion or not, but whether he can post one of those signature all-time performances. But to go, as you say, 9 furlongs, 1 turn on the dirt. I know everyone says, oh, the Saudi dirt's different. Well, it is, but it's still dirt. It's not synthetic. And then go 1.5 miles, drawn wide, having to tuck in, settle, and then wheel the field and beat a couple of real tough Japanese horses. That was a hell of a performance. So yeah, I'd love to see Mishriff mirror that at the back end of the season and go Arc 1.5 mile turf Breeders' Cup Classic. But John Gosden has already said when he trained in Southern California, he always thought that Del Mar would be a great track if only they picked up the winning line and moved it 100 yards further down the track, because the straight was too short. And
but that's what makes it unique. When they widen the turf course inwardly, so you've got tighter turns there on, the turf track. I cannot wait to get back to Del Mar, and that's the goal for everyone in 2021. We know that all of these trainers, owners, jockeys, they work backwards from the Breeders' Cup, and this year it is where the turf meets the surf, and there's really no better backdrop, maybe except the San Gabriel Mountains at Santa Anita, than the ocean.
I'm excited for that one. It's going to be incredible. And my brother lives in San Diego too. So hopefully we can turn it into a big event, family reunion, and also watch this, incredible event, coming up next November. But I don't know. I'm trying to become more involved, learn a little bit more about horse racing. So I actually followed a bit of, some of the Derby news. I know Life is Good was one of the fastest recorded horses this season, right? He was at, I forget the metric, but 120, I think, was the speed, and he was far above the field. So I actually followed what you were saying when he kind of was not able to participate in the Derby, how it kind of opened things up. I know to everyone watching, I sound like an idiot right now, but I'm really trying to become more involved.
Great. Yes, speed figure. So you might be talking about an Equibase one. His buyer speed figure, I think, was 107, which is much higher than any other 3-year-old has run this year. So yeah, he, in my opinion, was leaps and bounds the best 3-year-old at the time. Yep. We'll see who shows up on Saturday. Do you guys know what else today is?
April Fool's Day.
Yes.
Oh. Yes.
I don't believe a word anybody says today.
Do you know what's been going on on Instagram today? In all of these popular cocktail posts, everyone's been doing these elaborate descriptions for cocktails that are simply water. So it's basically diving into. Someone said for the water highball, make sure that you're doing a small batch water that is strictly 2 parts hydrogen to 1 part oxygen. So that's been kind of the running theme today on Instagram for mixologists, because apparently we're all just that nerdy. But yeah. What about you, Nick? Because you've got a young household too with so many kids. Are any pranks being pulled today?
Well,
did you have
my brother won the prize today. My brother's a bit older than me. He's 46, 47. He rang my mother. So their youngest daughter is 6 or 7. He rang my mum and said, "Great news, we just got back from the hospital. You know, Claire's expecting the 3rd baby," and that was a complete prank. My mum fell for it completely. And to be fair, it would be a major surprise if they would.
Right.
And yeah, so he got a hook, line, and sinker. At which point he tried it on my daughter and rang my 10-year-old daughter and said, "Oh, you're going to have another baby cousin." And my 10-year-old daughter said to him, "No," she said, it's April Fool's Day. You can't fool me that easily." So that was it. Didn't get past that.
Kids are locked in. They know to expect it. They brace themselves for this day. Adults kind of forget about it. It catches us off guard. So,
did you read any? Like the newspapers always try and do always try and do good ones, but the problem is they get worse and worse every year. There was the I don't know if you followed at all, Britt, what happened at the Cheltenham Festival you were talking about, the big jump racing festival here in England. Rachel Blackmore, exactly, just completely smashing it. But she and Ireland just dominating the whole fixture. And there was a nice touch in, I think it was the Irish Field today, where they ran a piece about how they were going to add a 5th day to the Cheltenham Festival and just have it for British trained and British bred horses to give the British horses a chance, which that was quite a cute one. I mean, I don't think it fooled anyone, but
I don't know. I don't think I have any. I'm so gullible, though. I mean, you could say gullible is written on the top of the ceiling, and I would probably look up. That's where I end up. So I will not believe anything I see today. It is also a fan favorite's birthday. Aside from being April Fool's, it is Queen ZENYATTA's birthday. So for those of you big American racing, anybody, I mean, even in Europe, everyone knows ZENYATTA, right? Like
yeah,
Mark,
and everyone knows
who ZENYATTA is.
I even know, yeah.
And doesn't everybody know that every horse's birthday is actually on January the 1st?
This is her actual birthday. Her folding dates, okay? And because of
the official birthday and a real birthday.
I'm sure they had a party for her and gave her a cake and the whole thing.
She just needs to breed a foal that can run, and then
I think that she used up all the talent she had out on the track, and the babies didn't really get much of it, unfortunately. That's why I'm interested to see Beholder and what her babies do on the track, because she was such a fierce mare, almost like a male. So, anywho, is it time for the luck?
I think just about. Are we doing a flashback here?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
They came to Anita to see the queen. Her name was ZENYATTA. She was beloved because she would dance before racing and preen afterward, because she would fall impossibly far behind and then come running, and because she had never lost. 13 races, 13 wins.
How do you describe perfection? This is ZENYATTA.
But she had never raced against the boys. On this day, she would run the Breeders' Cup Classic, an international Super Bowl that no filly or mare had ever won. The start was delayed. ZENYATTA was chilled.
Sent on their way in the Breeders' Cup Classic to the roar of the Santa Anita crowd.
But again, she fell behind, last in the field of 14.
ZENYATTA's dead last early.
Second to last in the final turn, as her hometown track beseeched a miracle. And then it happened. Mike Smith steered her inside and then swept her wide through traffic.
ZENYATTA's come to the outside. ZENYATTA coming flying on the grandstand side. This is unbelievable. ZENYATTA, what a performance, one we'll never forget. Looked impossible, but it is ZENYATTA, still unbeaten.
The ancient grandstand quivered. The roar lingered long after the finish. No longer just a queen, but a champion and a legend.
Ah,
Wow.
wasn't amazing.
Chills.
Amazing.
They say the ground shook in California for the first time, not because of an earthquake.
Yeah.
Wow.
When she won that day. I wasn't there, but I mean, I've just heard from everybody that it was one of those performances that you'll never forget, much like Trevor Denman said in the call, and that's a call you'll never forget either. Special. And I had no idea that it is also Zyconic's birthday.
I would know.
Leslie for that.
Well, there was no luck in that performance. That was all skill. But our next drink is going to have plenty of luck to it.
Beautiful
segue.
You could be a TV host with links
I
like that.
I learned from the best.
You don't buy links like that at Walmart, do you, Mark?
No,
that's tremendous.
Like I said, thank you.
Before you start, can I just try and win maximum prizes for cuteness this week, please?
Who is that?
Oh wow!
You're not going to miss that, are you? That's my foal born last week.
Oh my goodness!
You're not going to miss him in a hurry.
Wow.
Mind you, I might not be able to sell him either with that much white on him. But there you go.
Adorable. Hey,
Wow,
California
beautiful.
Chrome. Look how much white
Yeah.
he had on himself for much, but he made a lot.
I know somebody suggested I should call him Shropshire Chrome because that's where he was born. Hasn't quite got the same ring to it.
That's a mouthful, yeah.
Not so much.
All right, guys. You ready for your signature drink, Nick?
Go for it.
Yeah? Awesome.
I was born ready.
Well, you guys know that I am now a Brooklyn resident of almost 6 years, believe it or not. So when people ask me where to find a great craft cocktail in this neighborhood, I always, without a doubt, direct them to Clover Club in Cobble Hill. Now, Clover Club is an amazing craft cocktail lounge that was created by Julie Reiner. She's one of the pioneers of the early days of the craft cocktail renaissance here in the New York area. But I mean, really, she's a legend in the industry. She also owned Flatiron Lounge in Manhattan until that closed about 2 or 3 years ago. But Clover Club itself gets its name from a pre-Prohibition era classic cocktail called the Clover Club. Now, that drink itself got its name from a gentleman's club about 20 or 30 years before that, that used to meet at the Bellevue Stratford Hotel in Philadelphia, again called the Clover Club. So this classic drink is really, really interesting because it has gin, has lemon juice, raspberry syrup, sometimes dry vermouth, although we don't always see that in modern day variations, and it has egg white, your favorite, Nick. So the egg white emulsifies all the ingredients.
You know how good I am with that. You know how good I am with that egg white, Mark.
I do, yeah. I'll never forget you shaking the egg white cocktail, and basically it was like a baby sippy cup, wasn't it? I think we have to get that flashback the next Thursday. But so I wanted to do a variation on that cocktail because of course clovers are lucky, right? So this is going to be an ode to you, Nick. But we're going to make some key variations. So we're going to swap in lime juice for lemon juice. And we're also going to use maraschino liqueur instead of regular sugar syrup. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the things I love about you is that you've got this great dry wit. So maraschino liqueur is actually very common in cocktails as a replacement for sugar syrups to lower the sugar content a little bit. Actually, it's perhaps most well known for its role in the Hemingway daiquiri, because Ernest Hemingway was diabetic, so he loved daiquiris, but he actually liked to have a little less sugar in them. So his variation has grapefruit, lime.
Every day's a school day.
Yeah. And he would use maraschino liqueur to lower that sugar content. But
that's a fun fact, though. I feel like if it comes up on Jeopardy and it says which of these riders was a diabetic, I'd say, who is Ernest Hemingway?
There you go. You know, if I ever ended up on Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I think it would be sort of a Slumdog Millionaire situation where like just random facts from, you know, no formal education kind of just come together. I don't know. But if our viewers invested in a bottle of maraschino liqueur like this one, oh, I'm still on this camera, don't worry. I know this might be a bit of investment, but we are going to make a lot of fun Prohibition era cocktails on this season, such as the Aviation and the Last Word, all of these drinks, maybe even a Hemingway daiquiri itself that call for this liqueur. So that's really the inspiration, but let's get to making this luck happen here. So let's switch screens again. All right. So we are not making a raspberry syrup for this particular cocktail, even though that's traditional in the Clover Club. You know, one of the things I love about doing these drinks with you guys every Thursday is keeping them accessible and easy. Something that you can really do, not of the spur of the moment, but you don't have to invest a lot of time in them. So instead of doing a raspberry syrup, we're going to muddle some fresh raspberries. So let's add about 4 raspberries to our mixing tin. You could even do 5. It's not
Let's do 5. Why not? Go crazy.
Why not go crazy? It's almost the weekend. So guys, this is, I guess, a forceful muddle, but I mean, these raspberries are going to break down so easily. Some people argue you don't even need to muddle raspberries because they tend to just break apart in the shaker. But either way, for good measure, let's give it a little muddle. They fall apart instantly. Okay, now the next thing we're going to add is our acidity. Now for the luck specifically, we're going to try to get this cocktail to catch on. Let's make it a new classic. We are going to do 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. I think the lime juice works very nicely here because, you know, thinking of that Hemingway daiquiri, you know, the maraschino liqueur and the lime juice, and even a Last Word cocktail, which is gin, maraschino liqueur, lime juice. You know, that combination works very, very nicely. So let's do 3/4 of an ounce of our fresh lime juice right in our cocktail shaker. Again, our goal here is for this cocktail not to be overly sweet. We want it to be fresh and tart and bright. Now for our maraschino liqueur. So this liqueur is made from Marasca cherries, which grow on the Dalmatian coast in Croatia. It used to be part of the Venetian Republic. This dates back, I think, to the 1600s. And again, this is a fantastic ingredient, brand like Luxardo, to use in a lot of classic cocktails. So I highly recommend investing in a bottle for this show, but also just for your classic cocktail experimentations at home. All right, so 3/4 of an ounce. We are going to balance out that lime juice, but as I've mentioned in the past, oftentimes liqueurs don't tend to evenly balance the citrus. If you do like a 1-for-1 liqueur and lime juice or lemon juice, it doesn't always completely balance it out, which in this case I think is going to be a good thing. We're going to have a little bit of a drier finish. Otherwise, if we wanted to bring the sweetness up, we could, of course, add an ounce instead of 3/4 of an ounce. Okay, now we're going to add some gin, London dry gin. So I love Bombay Sapphire here. This is one of the few vapor-infused gins that you'll find on the market. So a lot of times in my seminars too, people ask me, so what does that really mean? You know, most gins, the production method is that they take a neutral spirit and then they steep botanicals. So anything from the earth, flowers, barks, roots, herbs, they steep it in the spirit and then they redistill it, right? So it's this method of steeping and then distilling. Bombay Sapphire is very different. What they do is they take that neutral spirit and then they redistill it without infusing the botanicals inside. And what happens is that the vapors themselves, the alcoholic vapors, come into contact with baskets of botanicals. So the liquid form never touches the botanicals. It yields a lighter, brighter botanical flavor profile. So if you've ever looked at this blue bottle on the shelves and said, well, what makes that so special? There you go. That's the skinny on vapor infusion. All right, let's add 2 ounces of our Bombay Sapphire or any London dry gin. into our cocktail shaker. And of course, to develop that really nice frothy head on the top of our cocktail, we're going to need Nick's favorite, the egg whites. So you may remember from prior drinks that we've done with the egg whites. Yeah, Nick.
Mark, I trust that you'll be able to whip up a frothier head than I was able to.
So I'm going to do my very best to do that, Nick. I think you actually did a very good job. I think it was just the container wouldn't allow it to enter into the glass. I think that was the biggest problem, but I think you did a good job from what I remember. So maybe one of these days we can bring the luck back and maybe you can try it with me. So at this point, you may remember, guys, when we make drinks with egg whites, that you want to give it what's called a dry shake first, which means that we're shaking it without ice, and that's to emulsify the different ingredients and sort of jumpstart that frothing. And then we're going to shake it again with ice to chill it down. Quick note, if you are vegan and you don't want to use egg whites in your cocktails, or if you just kind of feel like that's weird, you can use chickpea water, which is called aquafaba, and it works just as well. And no, it doesn't taste like chickpeas at the end. You get that same emulsification, that same frothiness, but just vegan. So, all right, guys. So let's do our dry shake first. You're going to notice no noise here. Now, I like to do this for at least 10 seconds, and then I pop this to release some of the carbon dioxide, and then give it another good shake.
Why do you want to release some of the carbon dioxide? Just so it gets even frothier?
Well, sometimes it'll pop the seal, and it'll actually splash a little bit. So if you do the dry shake, and if you shake it a little too hard for too long, that pressure will build up and pop the seal of the cocktail shaker. So I always like to catch it before that happens at about 10 seconds. Gotcha. So now if I look inside here, I should have some frothiness building up. I do see some. And now we're going to go ahead and add our ice and do another shake. This is to chill it down. Now there's actually a method called the reverse dry shake, which we're not doing today, where you actually chill it first and then you put the egg whites and shake it afterwards. So all sorts of different techniques in bartending. All right, guys. So that should be pretty good. Now, if we've done this right, hopefully we should get a really nice frothy head on our cocktail. So let's see. Here we go. Oh, there's nothing coming out.
Oh, come on.
Maybe we did.
It has to be a show.
Did we do something wrong?
Did we forget to put something in there? Oh, yeah.
No, you know what it is that we shook it too hard, so it turned back into an egg. All right. That was my lame attempt at an April Fool's joke.
No.
Oh. All right, never mind. This is why I'm a...
Well, it worked. It worked.
Yeah, I did. Fooled me.
All right, guys. So this is our luck cocktail. You're going to see beautiful pink color. We are going to get some froth developing.
That does look lovely.
Yeah, and I'm fine straining this too because of the fact that we had those muddled raspberries. All right.
Nice feminine color for you, Nick.
I like pink.
Know,
I know you do. Salmon. I've seen you wear salmon shirts many a times.
All right. So it'll take a second to settle here, but we've got a beautiful color here. Hopefully we have a nice tart flavor profile. All right. And we are going to finish this with a nice raspberry on top.
That is beautiful.
This is our luck cocktail.
I wish I could
Cheers,
just dive into that screen and
oh man. And it's really, really good.
If you would just look at the Eurton made and the Luck made, you would think that they were reversed.
That's probably true. But you know, Nick is a sensitive guy too. He's in touch with his sensitive side. But it's a delicious cocktail, not too sweet, very nuanced, and it has roots in the classics. So we're gonna dive into more of those classics throughout this season. But for now, cheers to you both. Most honor of you guys.
You've got a bit of that frothy head just on your lip there.
Yes, I do. The downside of the beard. This is one of the reasons why the clock is ticking on this guy.
Well, cheers. Those were amazing. And I know that the work that goes into designing and creating these cocktails is extensive. So thank you, because these were two very special ones. And I can say thank you on behalf of my parents. They loved the Eurton, and that was such a special gesture. So thank you. And I hope everybody at home was able to make a couple, enjoy them a bit. How are we already at an hour 5? I thought we were going to be on time this episode.
I know,
it's crazy.
We had so much fun catching up. You know, we pushed a little bit.
Just one
Oh my goodness!
Look at that. How cute.
It is. It's adorable.
This is why I try to be on my best behavior, because I don't want you guys looking for older photos of me.
We'll get them from Jasmine.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
As we wind down, I know we touched on a lot of the guests that people would like to see. I saw some John Gosden in there. Could you pull some strings, Nick?
Whether I could get him on at 11 o'clock at night, I don't know, but I'll give it a go.
Maybe we could adjust the time specifically for him.
Oh, steady.
Maybe.
No,
any cocktail conversation live remote from the race course. So yes.
We've done that for any...
No, we have not, but Stu, I have some ideas, and our producer might kill me because of my extensive ideas for this year's Breeders' Cup, but I hope so. I hope that we can get a few on site at different racetracks. I know that some farms actually have shown some interest, love the show, and they would love to have us on site. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything keeps going in the right direction, we can all be together again, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
I mean, that show we did last year at where was the Breeders' Cup last year? I can't even remember. Where was it?
Lexington.
Lexington. That was so much fun. That was so much fun.
It was.
It was a lot of work for the team. So hats off to them. I'm sure. Maybe we can do it again eventually when everyone's back to normal. I think Del Mar already announced they're going to, or at least plan to have fans at their summer meeting. So hopefully that continues. But yeah, anybody else that people want to see? I saw quite a few Europeans being mentioned. Tom Durkin, legendary racetrack announcer. I think he would be fantastic on this show. There are a couple of really talented up-and-coming female riders out in Southern California that I think would be great to get on here. Emily Ellingwood and Jessica Pfeiffer. Of course, Sophie Doyle, a little bit more established than those two. She's been riding longer, but maybe that would be a fun episode to do.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And it's good to see some more than one young female rider kind of not, at least threatening to break through. It's good to see.
I mean, could we get Holly Doyle and Rachel Blackmore to jump on with us this late?
So we might be able to get Holly. I don't know. I'll ask.
All right.
She's much in demand and is extremely busy, but it's not impossible.
Well, there you go. Mr. Lucas. Yes, we've tried, but Mr. Dwayne Lucas, his internet capabilities aren't quite up to what we need.
We'll get him.
So we will do our best.
Well, right.
Guys, so great to see you all.
Yeah,
Great
you
to see
too.
you too, guys.
Mark, you haven't lost touch.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to. Thank God for these seminars and all of that to keep me sharp and being with you guys throughout this past year. It's crazy to me that I haven't really been behind a bar for about a year now. But thank goodness, because of all of these ways of different, adapting and still getting to socialize with people. It still gives me a chance to express what I love doing. Just like you guys, I think this is an amazing forum for us to just, talk about what we love. So thank you as always for the opportunity.
Not at all. Thank you.
What do we think of the background? Do I keep it or do I move to another place next week?
I like
it.
it.
But whether you can sustain that monochrome for the whole season, I don't know.
It's a lot. I'll be in Arkansas next week, so we'll be doing that from a hotel room,
Cool.
and then back. So we'll keep this moving. The beauty of virtual show, I should say.
All right, I'll be in a hotel room next week as well because I'll be up in Liverpool ahead of the Grand National. So I will see you from there. Guys, thanks so much. Take it easy.
Cheers. Happy Thursday.